All right, Towns fans, I've got a great tune lined up for you. It's been too long. I know it has. This is Lungs by Towns Van Zandt. This is the Live at the Old Quarter version. I tried to transcribe it so it had all those neat variations for you, like I know you like. But you don't have to include those if you don't want to. Basically, it's a 9-bar form, and there's only 2 chords, so in that aspect it's kind of easy, but there's some tricky stuff to it. A very uplifting song for the new year. A lot of inspirational material in here, I think, right? I don't really know what this song is about. Anthony, what do you think this song is about? Have you done any research on this?
It is about being sidetracked by the Pantheon Bar, a cemetery party where people have abandoned their quest for the holy mountain and instead engage in drugs, poetry, or acts of physical
Well,
prowess.
that's an interesting take. I guess I hadn't really heard that before. Okay, very cool. All right, everybody, let's run through this jam, and then we'll break it down. Here we go. 3, 4. Won't you lend your lungs to me? Mine are collapsing. Plant my feet and bitterly breathe up the time that's passing. Breath all taken, breath all give. Pray the day's not poison. Stand among the ones who live in lonely indecision. Fingers walk the darkness down, mind is on the midnight. Gather up the gold you found, you fool, it's on the moonlight. If you try to take it home, your hands will turn to butter. Better leave this dream alone, try to find another. Salvation sat and crossed herself, called the devil partner. Wisdom burned upon a shelf will kill its raging cancer. And seal the river at its mouth, take the water prisoner. Fill the sky with screams and cries, bathe in fiery answers. Was an only son, love his only concept. Strangers speaking foreign tongues, dirty up the doorstep. I for one and you for two, you got the time for outside. Keep your engine looks to you, tell the world we tried. Everybody, let's break this down and let's talk about the form a little bit first and a couple other things. The form is a 9-bar song, mainly with E minor and D, and mainly what we're doing is we're playing the same melody over and over again. Now, I tried to figure out as many variations as I could when I transcribed this from Live at the Old Quarter, but trying to emulate all those variations if you're performing this song is kind of not necessary, and he probably didn't play it the same either. Only reason why I'm doing this is because it's good for our guitaring, and we can try and incorporate as much as we can. So we're going to start off with learning that melody, and the first measure sounds like this in the intro. And what I'm doing is I'm playing over an E minor chord and I'm sliding 2 to 4 on the G string. Now I'm going to strum strings 1, 2, and 3. Right, now I'm going to treat this as a chord and I'm going to strum again. Right, so I have slide, strum, 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 strum. Right, or slide, down, 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 up. Okay, so that's the first part of that melody. And then I have this, and I'm going back to the 2nd fret. By the way, this is all in an E minor pentatonic scale. It's really just an E minor blues lick. So I'm grabbing this 2 on the G string, 2, 0, 2, playing the open D string, and then I'm going to start to put my E minor shape down and hammer on my middle finger on the D string, open to the 2nd fret, and then a down up stroke. Okay. Now my second E minor phrase sounds like this. And again, we're just doing some hammer-ons and continuing that melody while strumming an E minor chord. So I'm going to hit my D string, and then a down up stroke, hit my A string with the E minor intact, open D string. Let's start with that. Bass down up 2, 0, right. Bass down up 2, 0. Then I'm going to hammer on my middle finger, and then a downstroke, hit the D string again, and a downstroke. Okay, so that's your whole second measure. Now, when I go back to the melody, I'm going to do a slight variation here. Really, no, I'm not. I'm going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to do a variation, and it sounds like this. Okay, so what I'm doing on that part is I'm hitting my D string with the E minor down, A string, then I'm going to open up my D string, hit it twice. Now my ring finger in my left hand is going to hit this 3rd fret on the E string to open, right? So I have downstroke, right. Then a bass down up to finish out that measure. Okay, so that's how we're doing that second variation of the 2 measures of E minor. Okay, now we're going to go to a D chord, and I'm grabbing my D chord and I'm hitting the bass twice. Bass, bass, down. And then I'm going to do an upstroke with my middle finger off of the high E string. Right, so bass, bass, down, down, up. Then I'm going to jump back into my E minor chord like this. So I'm going to hammer on both my index and my middle finger, but I'm only going to play the D string. And then a downstroke, then bass, down. Right, so that whole measure. Then I'm going to do it again. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to that original melody in the first 2 bars. Slight kind of weird variation. So I'm going to slide 2 to 4, and then I'm going to do a down up stroke focusing on strings 1 and 2. Then I'm going to hit the same melody note twice on the G string, that 4. Now I'm going to do a down up stroke. I'm going to let go of my middle finger and then hit my open G string. Now I'm going to go back to my E minor by hammering on both my index and middle finger, but only hitting the D string. And then a down upstroke, right? So I have. Now I have this variation on E minor. So I'm going to set up with an E minor, I'm going to hit my D string, and then I'm going to hammer on my index finger on the A string. Right, so I have one and then a quick down upstroke on strings 2 and 3. Then I'm going to grab this 3rd fret on the low string with my ring finger again. And I'm going to give it a little stank. I'm just going to pull it down a slight bit. Then open, right? So, okay. Then a downstroke. Then I got to wait. And another down up to end that phrase. Now I finish off with our 9th bar of E minor, kind of weird. Right? So almost like a country western lick there a little bit, where I'm hammering on my index finger on the A string, down, up, then I'm going to hit that A string again, pull off my index, then 3rd fret on the E string, then open, a downstroke. Right. Okay. So that's your whole intro. Let's try it real slow, seeing if we can get all those variations in. 3, 4. So that's your intro there. Now, if I was going to finally incorporate this into my own repertoire, then I probably wouldn't try to do that exactly. I'd probably just kind of think about the melody. Finishing with the melody. And I would do it that way, thinking about the melody more than trying to get every exact variation in. And basically that is the same thing as the verse, but we're going to look at some of these variations in the verse as well, just because I'm a nerd. I like this stuff. What else am I going to do today? I don't know. All right, so we start off with the verse, a slight variation, same melody, just a little varied. I'm going to slide 2 to 4 again, and I'm going to let it ring for a beat. 1. And then I'm going to do down, down, up. 1, down, down, up. 1, 2, and up. 1, 2, and up. Then I'm going to grab this same melody like we were doing before. 2, 0 on the G string. Open D, and then I'm going to hammer on my middle finger on the D string, open to 2nd fret, and then a downstroke. Right, so slight variation sounds like this. Okay, now we have another variation on this E minor here, where I'm going to play this. I play the open E string, the open D string, then I hammer on my middle finger, down upstroke, bass down. Okay? That's your other variation on that chord. Now I've got yet another. I'm sliding in 2 to 4, doing a down upstroke, then down, down, up. 1 E and a 2 and up. 1 E and a 2 and up. Then I'm going to do the same thing. 2 0 open, hammer on, down, up. Right. Okay. Now another variation here. Or, and what I'm doing is continuing that melody off the D string. I'm still grabbing my E minor, and I'm going to hit the D string, down, up, let go of my middle finger, down, up, and then oftentimes I'm going to hammer quickly back to the 2nd fret on the D string, and a downstroke, then bass, down. Right, so real slow. Or with the hammer on. Okay. Alright, so now we're going back to our D chord, just like in the intro. I'm going to do this phrase. All I'm doing with that D chord is real simple. I'm hitting the bass downstroke. So 1, 2. Then I'm going to hammer on both these fingers, but I'm only going to hit the D string. So open to 2nd fret on the D string. Downstroke, bass on the E string, down. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing that we were doing in the intro, just about. I'm going to go bass, where I'm letting go of my middle finger on the D chord. So I'm going to go bass, down, down, up. Bass, down, down, up. Without that middle finger, letting that high E ring across the D chord. 1, 2, and up. Now I'm going to go to my E minor just the same way I did in the last measure. Alright, so real slow. Yeah. Alright, now I'm going to do, have we already seen this variation? Yeah. So when we started out the tune, or really the verse, we're going to do the same measure as we started the verse out with. So. Okay. Now we've got this phrase here. And there's a couple different things you can do. I changed it a little bit so I could sing over it better, but I'll show you the two things. And what you're doing is you're playing your E minor chord again, and you're playing that melody off the D string. So you're going to do D string, down, up, open it up, hammer on your middle finger again, do a hammer on downstroke, and then D string again, down, up. So 1 and 2 and a hammer on down, 2 and up. Okay. He's also doing this. Where he grabs the same thing as beat 1, the D string, bass, down, up, and then he's grabbing the A string, and then open D, and then finishing the phrase just like we were doing. So that's variation 2. Here's 1 or 2. Now we're going to finish it out pretty much the same way we finished our 9th bar in the intro. Now I added a little down upstroke rather at the end so I can keep my rhythm recycling back into the verse, right? So I'm hammering on the A string, then a down upstroke, and then a pull off on the A string, 3rd fret on the E string, open, downstroke, wait a little bit, down, up. Right, okay. And the way we were finishing out the intro was, right, not much difference. Okay, so that's how you do the entire verse. Let's give that a try, real slow. 3, 4. That's your verse. And what I'm doing is I'm doing 3 verses in a row. I go back to the intro, play the whole melody again, and then verse 4, and I finish out the entire piece with this phrase here. Okay, which is not too hard, just a little bit of a turnaround kind of. And what I'm doing is I'm sliding up 2 to 4 on the G, then a down upstroke on strings 1 and 2, or 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to do down, down, up again. Right, so. Then I'm going to go down to my 2nd fret, same string, hit just that note, then open. Right, that's our first measure of that outro. Now I'm going to hammer in to a E minor on the D string, down upstroke, and then a hammer on and a pull off on the D string, then 3rd fret on the E string, then open, right. Okay, and that's how you finish off the tune. All right, a very uplifting tune. By Townes once again, Lungs. Hope you guys enjoy this one. It's been too long. It has been too long. All right, everybody. Have fun with this one. Remember, you don't have to do all the variations. Just try and get that melody down. It's cool to study the variations anyway. All right, see you in the next episode.